Obviously, you just saw Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. Earlier, Topuria posted, I'm dealing with some personal problems, so I'm not gonna fight the first quarter. So the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy will be the interim title, and then they will face Topuria. Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes for the bantamweight title. That's a badass fight. O'Malley and Song Yadong. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Arnold Allen and Gene Silva. Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. And just added like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Figueiredo. And I'm going to announce this for you. 1 week later, we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. So that's January 31st, UFC 325 from Sydney, Australia. There's a bunch of other fights on there. I'll tell you later. How's everybody? You guys good? You happy? You mad?
Obviously, we all know that I wanted to fight earlier. I wanted, I thought it was going to be December. We thought, Lerone Murphy, December. Is there more deserving people, whatnot? But everybody knows that I'll fight anyone, right? So whoever they put in front of me, I'll do. But, there was them questions there, and then we're waiting. We're going to do Sydney because that's the only reason why I waited, because I thought it'd be December. But then they're like, I will give you Sydney. I'm like, all right, I'll wait for that. Again, I thought, it was a Mobzar deserving, Lerone Murphy. I thought they were the two guys. They're the guys I called out. UFC really won Lopez, but at least it's going to be a very exciting fight. What about, with your Mobzars and Lerones, they're probably, they're more deserving. But are they going to bring a fight like Lopez would? I think the fans are going to appreciate the fight that me and Lopez are going to have. But it is what it is. Whoever they put in front of me, let's go.
How long ago did you find out that it was actually going to be Diego? Because it was supposed to be Murphy initially, right? That's what all the reports were. That's what kind of like Alex was talking about.
Yeah, it was. That's what they'd given us. Probably, I'd say a week or two after Diego's fight, they put that on the table to us. Because initially we were going to be fighting in December, that we were going to headline this December card, and we were all set for that. We thought it was going to be either Mosvar or Murphy, or the winner out of Murphy and what? I can't remember who
Murphy and Pico, Aaron Pico.
Yes, and. So we had that sort of, it was going to be out of Murphy or Pico, maybe a Mosvar, but we didn't really have much hope on that. And then when Murphy had that spectacular KO, we said, yeah, it's Murphy, and all indications and everything, led to Murphy. Till Diego had his spectacular KO and everything changed.
An interim title fight, by the way, that does not feature a number one contender. Because the number one contender at 155 pounds is a guy named Arman Tsarukyan. And he's not involved in this fight. And of course, the champion, Ilia Topuria, is not involved in this fight. This is a makeshift fight. This is as prestigious as a BMF title. God bless. I said I wanted to see Paddy fight for the belt. God bless. I said, Justin, I think you need to win a couple more. He said he was going to retire. Unless he got a title fight, I guess he's not retiring. He's fighting for an interim title. But this is a bogus fight. And it's insane to me that it is headlining over Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. On paper, Paddy versus Justin, if Paddy wasn't fighting Ilia and Ilya's supposed to fight Arman, on paper, Paddy versus Justin is a fine fight to determine the number one contender to fight Ilia and or Arman. Ilia won that belt back in June. I don't even think you need an interim title fight. Honestly, it should have been the co-main event, 5-round, number one contender fight, Ilia versus Arman, second half of the year. What's the problem with that? And now what you just said, because he reiterated this in the Instagram Live, the winner of this fight is going to fight Ilia. What happens to Arman? Arman's going to have to fight who? What is going on? What does Arman Tsarukyan have to do to get a shot at the belt now? I know he had the fight back in January. He got hurt. Sue the guy. He sat patiently. He went out there. He steamrolled right through Dan Hooker. He did exactly what he had to do. He did what Khamzat and Islam did not do. He finished his opponent on the ground in dominant, impressive fashion. And now what is he? Now he's just floating in the wind. And he's not even next, apparently. Now, of course, everything could change. Nothing really means anything. They make up the rules as they go along. But to put Justin and Paddy in the interim title slot and then have the winner of that fight Ilya is insane to me. And worse than that, because we have seen interim title fights that have felt a little fugazi. I cannot believe that they are headlining this card with that fight.
Да, поздороваемся. Сразу одевайте перчатки, щитки. Отработать? Отработать.
Да. Что без настроения? Сейчас ты пришел, здесь нормально появится у всех настроение. Сейчас что за рубки будут? Искры. А почему бы и нет?
Суббота. Бег в гору. Давай, добавляйте. Шагида потеряли опять.